Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Children's Church. I'm so glad to have you here on this lovely Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Today we are talking about mom, and we're talking about a prophet. That's right, holidays do not mess with my theme of the month. So we're talking about Samuel, the first prophet, but first we're going to talk about his mom, Hannah. So we're jumping into the first book of Samuel. That's right, he's such an important prophet. He's got 2 whole books named after him. And we're jumping in around chapter 1, verse 8. Verse 7. So it went on, year by year, as often as she went to the house of the Lord, she used to provoke her. Therefore Hannah wept and would not eat. And Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you weep? And why do you not eat? And why is your heart sad? Am I not more to you than 10 sons? After they had eaten and drunk in Shiloh, Hannah rose. Now Eli the priest was sitting on the seat beside the doorpost of the temple of the Lord. She was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. She vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, that means angels, if thou wilt look upon the affliction of thy maidservant and remember me, and not forget me, but give me a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head. That's called a Nazarite vow. It's a long story, and I'll explain it another time, because we have a lot to cover. As she continued praying before the Lord, Eli observed her. She was speaking in her heart, but only her lips moved, and her voice was not heard. Therefore, Eli thought she had too much to drink. A conclusion to jump to in a temple, I suppose. And Eli said, How long will you be drunken? Put away your wine from you. But Hannah answered, No, my lord. I am a woman sorely troubled. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have been pouring out my soul before the Lord. Do not regard me like that. For all along I have been speaking out of great anxiety and vexation. Then Eli answered, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition which you have made to him. And she continued on her way. The Lord remembered Hannah after she had left, and in due time she conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Samuel, she said, For I have asked the Lord for him. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer the Lord their yearly sacrifice and to pay his vow. But Hannah did not go, for she said to her husband, As soon as the child is weaned, I will bring him, that he may appear in the presence of the Lord and abide there forever. Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Do what seems best to you. Wait until you have weaned him only. May the Lord establish his word. So she remained with her son. Then she brought the child to Eli and said, O my Lord, as you live, I am the woman who is standing here in your presence praying the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted my petition which I made to him. Therefore I have lent him to the Lord for as long as he lives. And they worshiped the Lord there. Now the next chapter is Hannah's Exaltation. It's a prayer of thanksgiving from Hannah, and I'm going to skip forward a little bit because now we're going to talk about Samuel. I'm just going to tell the story, it's too long. So Samuel was living at the temple. He had been since he was a little boy, probably around 4 or 5 years old. And in the middle of the night, Samuel heard a voice call out to him, Samuel! 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 So he got up and he went and found Eli and said, What do you need from me? And he said, I didn't call you, go back to bed. So Samuel goes back to bed. And he wakes up again, someone calling, Samuel! Samuel! And he goes again to Eli and says, What do you need? What do you need? I didn't call you. Go back to bed. And a third time this happens. Samuel! Samuel! And he goes back to Eli, and this time Eli remembers he's a priest. And he says, Okay, I got it. It's the Lord calling you. Next time he calls you, answer him. So Samuel goes back to bed, and he hears for a 4th time, Samuel! Samuel! And he answers, Yes, Lord, I hear you. What do you need of me? And that is when Samuel was called to be a prophet. And he was called at a young age because God can do that. But who do you think he learned that from? His mom. His mother went before God and she prayed, and when she made a promise to God, she kept it. So when God called Samuel, he reacted the exact same way his mother did. I'm here. What do you need? Send me. I give you my word. And that's the kind of thing we learn from our moms, how to be a person of integrity, how to listen to a call when it goes out, and how to serve God. This is what we learn. Like we talked about that with Timothy and his grandmother and his mother, Eunice, and I forgot her name. I'm very sorry, guys. I won't quiz you on it. But those are the things we learn from our mom, and we see that happen over and over again in the Bible. We see it with Jesus too. Jesus wasn't supposed to start performing miracles yet, but his mom told him to, so he did. That's obedience. She started Jesus' ministry earlier than he planned for it because his mom told him to. Not a bad lesson. But Samuel was our very first prophet. There are other people who prophesied, but Samuel's considered the first prophet of Israel. He was also a priest and also a judge, and he's the only person in the Bible to have been all three. So he's a very good place to start. And next week, we will be going back to our good buddy Elisha, because he has some really cool stories. But I thought we'd take a break to talk about Samuel, the first prophet, and his mom for our very special Mother's Day lesson. I left you guys some cards and crafts to make for your moms. Have a good day. Be good to your mom. Be good to yourself. I love you. Bye.